Today I'm going to be explaining how to find parallel and perpendicular lines on a coordinate plane. And I think being able to find those is important because it shows that you understand equations of a line and the slope and the y-intercepts, because all those come into play when you're finding parallel and perpendicular lines. And there's some little tricks that we'll also see that deal with the slope and the y-intercepts. So it's nice that when you're finding these two lines, you're also using other things like slope and y-intercept. So I will start with the slope, or parallel lines. And what I would do is have three lines set up and equations and have the class sort of talk about what they see. And so first off, we can see that they have the same slopes. Looks like it's up 2 over 2. And then either by looking at the y-axis or the y-intercepts, we can see that they're different. Over here we've got a y-intercept of 6, 0, and 7. And also if you just look at the y-axis here, you see, oh, they do not match up. And then probably just by straight looking at it, they would be able to see, oh, instantly that they are parallel to each other. Then what I would have them do is, once we discuss it and point those things out, is I would give them an equation of a line. So let's say I gave them y equals x plus 6 and said, all right, I want you to plot that line and then find the line parallel to it. So they'd plot the line and they would get this. And then plotting a line parallel to it is pretty easy if they noticed and remember what we talked about with these first lines. So all they would have to do is go, okay, well, in the example we saw before, the slopes were all the same, but the y-intercepts are different. So we have to pick a y-intercept that's different from 6, so let's pick 0. They'd go and they'd plot 0, and then they'd go and make sure they had the same slopes. So go up 2 over 2, down 2 over 2, and they make a line, and then they see, oh, it's parallel. And then I'd say, okay, now find another line parallel to that line. Okay, well, they'd go, all right, so same thing. I need the same slope, but a different y-intercept. All right, let's pick 7, negative 7. So they go down 7, and then, okay, I need to have the same slope. So you go up 2 over 2, up 2 over 2, up 2 over 2. Draw your line. They're all parallel. And so in the homework, what I would have them do is practice more of these, give them more equations of a line, and then have them find a line parallel to that. So it's pretty simple, especially when you see the little tricks that you can use. It's actually kind of fun to do. Next, I will be talking about perpendicular lines. And so what I would do is have one already set up so we can discuss it. And so I've got here an equation of a line and then a slope of a second line. So we would plot this line, which is right here, and then we would plot the second line. And we already know what the slope is, 4 over 1. So, we would go to the same y-intercept, so hopefully that would be something they notice. Oh, they have the same y-intercept. And then we would go up 4 over 1 at 4 over 1 at 4 over 1. And so that would be this line right here. And then we talk about it, and hopefully they would see that, these make 90-degree angles. So, these lines must be perpendicular to each other. And then either by looking at the lines or the equations, they can see, are the y-intercepts the same? I would say yes, the y-intercepts are the same. And they could say, are the slopes the same? No, the slopes don't look the same. Okay, So far, we know that perpendicular lines have the same y-intercept, but don't have the same slope. Okay, so let's see another example. We've got y equals 1/3 x plus 2, and then that's one line, and then the slope of the second line is -3 over 1. So again, we would do the same things. We would plot everything and make our lines, and then see that, okay, our y-intercepts are indeed the same, but the slopes aren't the same. But what's, and I would ask them specifically about the slope. What do they notice about the slopes? And hopefully they would see that the slopes of perpendicular lines, you take the reciprocal of the first slope and make it negative or positive. And so basically you just change the sign. You take the reciprocal of the slope and change the sign. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3 over 1, and you change the sign from positive to negative, so it's negative. And that's a nice little trick to make perpendicular lines. So let's take a look at a third example, since we have pointed out that trick. And see here. Alright, we have y equals 2x plus 4 and a slope of -1/2. Alright, so we would plot y equals 2x plus 4, which is this line right here. And then we would go, okay, so the slope is the reciprocal of the first, in the first equation, and we change the sign, so it would be -1 over 2. So then we would go from the same y-intercept and then go up or down -1 and over 2. Down -1 over 2, and then we would plot, oh sorry, this line. We would plot this line to make it perpendicular. And so I would do a couple more examples of that, and then have them, and then I would give them an equation and would not give them the other slope, and based on the equation have them figure out the line perpendicular to it. So I would hope that they would remember, okay, we know that the slopes have to be, or the y-intercepts have to be the same, and so they'd plot this first line and then work from the y-intercept, which is this point right here, and go, that's right, we need to take the reciprocal and change the sign. That's how they find their slope, and based on their slope, they can just go from the y-intercept and go, down to over 2 or whatever the slope may be. And that's how they would find perpendicular lines. And then for a homework assignment, I would have them, practice the same thing, give them equations of a line and have them find the one that is perpendicular to it. And so for a wrap up, I would bring them together and once again share about some observations. And an observation could be that the y-intercepts are always different with parallel lines, and with this lesson there's actually quite a few different observations, which is nice. And a question I would ask too is, what do you notice about the y-intercept and the slope of parallel lines? Thank you.